All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending where you are. We're just going to give it a couple minutes before we get started with our onboarding webinar. And then while we wait, they did publish a poll. I'm really interested in seeing how familiar you are with AppFollow, if you're brand new or if this is more of a refresher course. But we'll get started in 1 minute. So I make sure we give people time to stop what they're doing and join the webinar. Okay, we can go ahead and get started. Thank you so much for joining the AppFollow Academy onboarding webinar. This webinar is designed for new users and also a refresher course for established clients. This is the first webinar in our new AppFollow Academy series, and this specific webinar will be held monthly. In addition to this webinar, we'll be covering a range of topics during our AppFollow Academy sessions, which will be held once a month. And we now will have weekly office hours, both held live and on Slack. Following this event, we'll send you more details on the other events we'll have throughout the month and going forward. So today we are going to cover AppFollow account basics. So the webinar content will take about 15 minutes or so, and we'll leave time for a Q&A as well. Okay, so today we're going to cover setting up workspaces, adding apps to workspaces, adding new users, walking through our new navigation that some of you may or may not be familiar with, and we're going to highlight the ratings and reviews dashboard. For this session, I'm going to be using Netflix as the client. As you can see here, there's established workspaces for the marketing team at Netflix. We are going to pretend that Netflix is the team and they're adding a new user to their account. And the new users are going to be part of their customer operations team. So this team would be like responding to reviews, managing the reply rate, things like that. So we're gonna add a new workspace. So I should probably backtrack. Right now, we're in the accounts up here. We're gonna create a new workspace. A customer operations team. Oops, Here, if you have for number of replies to point out, if you're sharing replies throughout your company, so say the customer operations team is allocated 300 replies a month, and maybe you have other apps that you're working on, and they have their own customer response team, and they need some replies too. You can designate here the number of replies your team gets in this workspace each month. So for this purpose, I'll put 250. Here, you can determine how frequent and the type of reports you're receiving. So if I want to make sure I'm receiving reviews on a weekly or daily basis, and the app overview as well. I might not need the app overview daily, but I bet I benefit from monthly. And you can always change these settings too. I'm going to save changes here. So right now, they'll bring me to the workspace. And here I can add my apps. So you can see here, you can add from the App Store, Google Play, Microsoft Store, Mac App Store, so Apple Arcade, Amazon, even though you cannot reply to reviews, and as well as Discard and Huawei. I'm going to look for Netflix. For today, I'm going to just track the Netflix App Store app. Something I should mention about workspaces, which live here, oops, I'll go back to integrations shortly. So you can have an unlimited amount of workspaces, and they can share apps throughout each workspace. The only difference now we're going to talk about integrations is that integrations only live within the specific workspace. So if my team was using, say, Slack to reply to messages or Zendesk to track tickets, those integrations would only be set up in my specific workspace. From there, what we're going to show you is where you would link the App Store Connect. So you need the App Store integration to pull data in. I don't have the credentials for the Netflix App Store, but just to show you where it lives as well. So if you were like at the bottom, integrations will show you everything that's available with integrations. And I should note at this time, we do have an integrations webinar that's going to be held on October 31st. And you'll all get additional information about that webinar and how to sign up. Cool. So next, I'm going to show you how to add new users to your account. Scrolling here to account. Here, you can also update your LinkedIn, add your position, contact information, understanding your time zone. Adding a team member to your account is quite simple. You simply click My Team and put in their information. So for this one, I'm going to do my coworker, Karen. And something to point out here is that there's different roles for each user. Some have limited access as in read-only. Others like admin or user can set up and connect integrations. They can have more control over the settings of the account, setting up rules for, say, automation. Following this webinar, I will send out a list of what these user roles are and the permissions each role has. Karen, I'm going to set her up as an admin. And you also can designate her position, so customer support manager. Sending the invite to Karen. Oops. Here, this email exists. Karen is an established user. She's my coworker, but when it works for other clients, they're sending a new user. The new user would receive an email with an email link that they can then join the workspace. It's a pretty simple setup process, and we like to keep things efficient and effective for our clients at AppFollow. I'm going to pause to see if there's any questions in the chat about what we just covered. Throughout the webinar, I encourage our users, our lovely guests, to add questions throughout the way. Veronica will be monitoring the chat, so we can always answer questions. Because it's a smaller session today, keeping things a little more interactive and engaging. Cool. From here, I'm going to walk you through the new navigation. So we're currently in the account settings section. Slightly above, we have links to our help center. So you can go check out our blog, our help center, contact support, sales if you want to change your plan, as well as access customer stories. And above here, if you're looking for a certain feature or tool, you can search for it here as well. This is definitely helpful, especially now that we have changed our navigation. So now we have segmented our tools based on 3 workflows: accelerate, engage, and monitor. Today, I'm going to do a quick overview of what's available in our monitor section, but just for your background, accelerate is our ASO and marketing tools, and engage is where clients can reply to reviews, tag reviews, create and store templates for reviews as well. So let's look at the monitor section. I'm going to go to the ratings and review dashboard, and I'll let that load. To point out, again, we're looking at the Netflix App Store app. You can specify the time period and which country. Here on the right-hand side, you're going to see a 3.46 rating. This is what a new customer would see on the App Store. Below a 2.29 rating, that is the average for the time period we have selected above. So, as you can see, you can switch from ratings to reviews, or reviews to ratings, and incremental and total. Going back to the review section, I want to point out on the bottom of this chart, you'll see little orange triangles. This indicates there's been an app update. And from there, you'll often see following this an increase in reviews. As you see, October 4th, there was an app update. October 5th, there's a significant amount more reviews received. And that's common once you make updates or changes to your app. Here you can see your release insights. I'm going to toggle back and see. As you can see, the last version of this app, the 15.2.1 that was released on October 3rd, 2022, received a C+ score. This is calculated based on the user sentiment. You can see the new rating for this version as well. And the top topics and this that is said about the app as well. AppFollow also flag any reviews that need your attention. So something like a featured review. We encourage our clients that are still kind of building out their reply strategy to, first step is to prioritize feature reviews. Featured reviews are the reviews that are published on the App Store page. From what in my experience, I've seen reviews that have the most amount of content are deemed as more valuable and more likely to be featured. This is a great way to help acknowledge anything that's pressing and kind of control the narrative as well. So responding to anything that's maybe not accurate anymore or you have since changed. Sounds like we're getting some questions, so I'm just going to quickly check. So Kendra, you do not have to manually add the date of the app update. AppFollow will automatically make note of the new version. I'm not sure why you won't be able to see the release score, Daria, for that. If you could send a screenshot, I'll send you my email in the chat. You can send that to me and we can look further into that and connect you with support. And Veronica will add some more feedback to that as well. Any questions also not covered during our Q&A during the webinar, I'll make sure there's follow-up as well. So if we don't have an answer for you at this moment, we'll make sure you have an answer in the next couple of days. Daria, out of curiosity, what app are you looking at? All right. Next, we're going to look at the ratings chart. Again, on the right-hand side, you'll see the 3.46 rating. That is what users will, or potential users will see on the App Store. And below the 2.29 is what is shown is the average based on the time period selected. And once again, you'll see the orange caret to show an update. So from here, the update on October 4th, the following day, there was an increase in 5-star ratings. There's also an increase in ratings overall, which is, again, common. Looking at app stats, new positive ratings, 5.5 thousand. Then new negative ratings, reviews received. So that's a rating with additional feedback from clients. Reviews replied. And then the sentiment score. Sentiment score is calculated by AppFollow, and it's based on the user feedback. So it's correlated between the negative and positive reviews. It's 0 from 100 as well. Oh, cool. It's a grocery store app. Yep. Just to circle back and reiterate what Veronica just shared, send us a screenshot and we'll definitely look into this. Cool. I'm going to open the chat up for questions or any feedback. I'd love to hear more about what your experience has been using AppFollow. Oh, and something I should point out, when I was learning AppFollow, something I really like that we do is that we link all of our help resources here. So if I had a question about the ratings review dashboard, I click the link and it'll bring me to the exact help guide I need. Add a new poll. So for this poll, I'm interested in hearing if the content if you have any questions about the content that was shared today, and if you took something away. So did you learn something new? Okay, looking at the chat. Kendra, your app has not launched. Oh, great. So you've learned how to use the platform to be prepared. That's good. It's always great to get a nice background in terms of how you're going to use the platform and go from there. And we'll be having these sessions monthly. So definitely join in November and December if you can, as well as our office hours too. I think you're going to find the integration webinar on the 31st to be really helpful too. Awesome. We have a little more time, so I'm going to point out one area that I think would be helpful for any new user. Similar to the ratings review dashboard, we do have the Home Hub. The Home Hub is a great way, and it's on the Accelerate section. It's a great way to get a high-level view of what your app, how your app is performing, or across a certain time period in a country. For here, for the App Store app, I put worldwide. You can see how you're performing globally. And I should note that not all plans will have this data, depending on which plan you have with AppFollow. But here you can see the new ratings, the number of reviews, the averaging ratings, seeing it going up. And where there is some feedback insights like areas concerned, so bugs. This data is pulled from our semantic analysis tool. Cool. All right. So we're definitely at that time for any kind of questions we have, what we covered. I'd love to hear more about any topics you're more interested in learning about, aside from onboarding or integrations. Well, I just sent out a poll about future topics we're considering having. So I'd love to hear your feedback on what you'd like to see next. So I can quickly show how does tagging reviews work. We will have a reply effect a webinar coming up, but now that we have a few more minutes and we're a smaller group, I don't mind quickly showing you how these works with tagging. Right now I'm going to engage and reply to reviews. And there's different ways you can tag reviews. I'm not going to actually tag this because it's not my account. You go through here. If you say you're looking through your tags, you can create a new tag. So it could be user feedback positive, user feedback negative. But you can create tags here. And also while you're just going through replying to reviews. So you'd create a tag and then you choose a category. So it could be negative feedback, payment issue. And from there, say I saw a review that's referring to payment in a negative way, saying like it didn't go through or trouble processing it, I can tag reviews. And then my next step is sending this feedback over time to the product team to really look and see what the overall user sentiment is and where there's room for growth and improvement for our app. But that will be covered more in depth in a future webinar, and I'll make sure that you have an invite to that. Checking the polls. Effective reply strategy. That seems to be the number one for topics. That's great. Okay. Send out one more poll before you wrap up. Okay. Well, that's going to kind of complete the final poll, and that concludes our AppFollow Academy onboarding webinar. I will look forward to seeing everybody in future webinars, and especially our office hours, which are going live this week, and as well as our integration webinar, which will be taking place on Monday, October 31st. So a lot more of these opportunities to engage and connect with customers, help build your supply strategy, and really leverage all of AppFollow's tools and features. So really looking forward to connecting with everybody again soon. And I thank everybody for their time and participation. Cool. All right. I hope everybody has a great rest of their day and rest of their week. Looking forward to seeing you all again soon. Take care.